the Columbia County Fort White branch of the new public library system. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. It really is run down there and get mine again. Yeah, she's supposed to be here at 11. She's gonna get me. Thank you. Daddy. Thank you.
Overdue.
This book is overdue. Evelyn,
That's
Go, Brendan.
Here, wait, I'm not here. How about giving it to me? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, later about the back
Okay.
demonstration garden and all that.
Okay, here we go.
Right there. Barbara, get right there. You too. Right here.
People measure a community by its libraries and its schools, and I think the people of the Fort White area can be very proud of our new library that we are opening today. Certainly, a public library is a great leveler in today's society. The dream of a new public library for Fort White, it has been around for a few years. I've been here 5.5 years, and it was a dream before that.
You know, this library is going to have an economic impact on Fort White. Just like they said, when somebody comes to Fort White and looks to live here, they're going to look at the schools, they're going to look at the library, and the whole community. This library is not just a community library, it's a family library. I know that when my children were small, I enjoyed carrying my kids to the library. When they're anywhere from 2 years up, they're learning to read, but they love to look at pictures. And the more books you can put in front of them, and the more you'll read to them every night, like I did. And this library is full of books.
This is a big thing for the town of Fort White. It's a big thing for South Columbia County, and it's a bigger thing for the complete county. Remember, Fort White is the second largest city in the county.
For years we've talked about how bad we wanted to do something for Fort White, and we couldn't fit it into the old library. Now there will be a lot of programs the Friends will sponsor, a lot of things that we just couldn't do before. And we thank everyone for all the years of work it took to get this library.
How important is a library to a young father who brings his children up here to participate? And while he's here, he works on the computer. Also, he looks in books on how to repair things, how to improve himself, how to do a job resume. How important is it to that young man? How important is it to senior citizens who come to the library to do research in some case, genealogy research in some case. In some cases it's their entertainment. How important is it to an elderly man who really doesn't have a formal education? His only source of books have been reading material in magazines, when he can come here to a wealth of knowledge. How important is it to a young man who comes from a poverty background, who discovers libraries and the world that lies within the covers of these books, the opportunities that he sees, the chance to improve himself, to break that chain of poverty, step out of that chain of poverty, and become productive in society. How important is that to each and every one of us? It's important to me because I was that young man. That elderly gentleman who had to borrow reading material at the barber shop to read was my father. We never lived in a community that had a public library. He borrowed books from the barber. When he came back for another haircut, he returned those books and he picked up more. As a young man, I was fortunate enough to discover libraries at school and all the miraculous worlds that live between them.
Are you ready?
All right, we're open for business.
My name is Patty Street. I am the branch manager of the Fort White Library, and I'd like to welcome you to the new library. This area right here is what I'm going to designate as the young adult area. I've got 2 computer tables for them to use their laptops on. I've got the graphic novels here, and then I've got a booth that I'm hoping to have some games out that young folks can sit here after school, and anyone really, any time of day, but eventually it's going to be for, this is where I'm going to direct them when they come to the library, to this area. This is our children's area, and it's probably at least twice as big as our old area. And this is where school groups will come, when school groups will now walk over to the library, I hope, in mass, and they will come here and sit in here and I'll read them stories. I just want to tell you one thing. You see on the tops of these 2 stacks right here, this is art donated to the library, and it was spearheaded by the art teacher who now works at Swanee High School, but she used to be the art teacher at Fort White. Cindy Hires got her students and her fellow artists to donate these pieces to the library. And so they will be a permanent fixture here. I don't know if I'll leave them right here, but this is all art from local artists. And a lot of them are high school students, high school art students. Any group who wants to meet here will be able to meet here now. I have the quilters are already signed up, the Fort White quilters. The Master Gardeners of Columbia County are going to be doing a program here. The Busy Bees, who is a local volunteer society, they're going to be meeting here. And I think the bird people, the Audubon people are going to be here. So that's a start. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Came up 47, and all the kids were lined up along the edge like it was a parade, and they were all so excited, and the parents were out there with cameras, and the teachers were all excited.
It was a community event, a community event that we haven't had for a while. They don't do parades anymore, and so it was like, oh, wow. And everyone was just wonderful. They were helpful, they were involved and encouraging, and the kids were great, and they had 3-year-olds passing the book. Oh, yeah, they had the little kids passing.
Isn't it wonderful to see that enthusiasm about a library?
Right.
You know, we're not talking about a parade or a football game. We're talking about enthusiasm like that for a library.
A book, right. It was
wonderful.
Neat. These are our public access computers. Everything here is wireless, so people can come in. We left a few carols empty, so people could put their laptops there. Okay.
Welcome to the Columbia County Fort White Public Library System. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. It really is.